goddamn Cowboys!
Welcome back to the 8 and 88 podcast, the only place on the internet where we break down the boardroom just as hard as the box score. I'm Hank, your resident realist. Sitting across from me, already shaking his head at today's rundown, is Dwayne.
I am shaking my head, Hank, because the two most overcovered, dramatic, stress-inducing franchises in global sports are currently operating like they're playing a video game with the salary cap turned off.
It's June 2026, Dwayne, and both the Cowboys and the Lakers are navigating profound inflection points. They are walking tightropes of massive financial brinkmanship and high-stakes roster engineering. Hit that subscribe button and smash that like button because today we're giving you an exhaustive deep dive into the cap gymnastics and superstar ultimatums defining these two franchises. Let's start in Arlington.
Oh, let's talk about Arlington. The Cowboys just finished a deeply disappointing 7-9-1 campaign under Eberflus's crap defense. They missed the playoffs again. And how did that 2025 season end, Hank? Complete and utter humiliation.
Back-to-back 34-17 beatings to close the year. It wasn't pretty.
It was a disaster. Week 17, Justin Herbert completes 79.3% of his passes for 300 yards. And then week 18, they play a 3-win Giants team. Jackson Dart throws for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns, putting up a 110.2 passer rating. The Dallas defense gave up 161 rushing yards. Tyrone Tracy Jr. got 103 yards on them, becoming the Giants' first 100-yard rusher all year. And what happens to Dak Prescott, the man who just signed a record-shattering extension, benched at halftime with 70 passing yards for Joe Milton?
You have to look at the pragmatic reality of the modern NFL, Dwayne. The front office made a philosophical choice. An elite passing attack is the most reliable currency. So yes, they gave Dak a 4-year, $240 million extension with an unprecedented $231 million in guaranteed money. Then they traded a 2026 third-round pick and a 2027 fifth to Pittsburgh to acquire George Pickens.
And how is that Pickens trade working out for the Cap?
On the field, brilliantly. He was a second-team All-Pro last year. He put up 93 catches for 1,429 yards and 9 touchdowns. You pair him with CeeDee Lamb, and you mathematically have the most lethal receiving tandem in the NFL.
On the field is great, but right now he's playing Coach Pickens on the sideline at minicamp. He's sitting out team drills on a restrictive $27.3 million franchise tag to protect his physical assets. Market projections say he wants $30 to $40 million a year on the open market next year. You can't pay Dak $60 million, pay CD, and pay Pickens. The salary cap isn't a myth.
The math works if you find bargains elsewhere. Look at what they did to stabilize the rushing attack. They signed Javonte Williams to a low-risk $3 million prove-it deal last year, and he delivered career highs, 1,201 rushing yards, 11 touchdowns, and 4.8 yards per carry. Terrified of him hitting the open market, they locked him up on a 3-year, $24 million extension. At just $8 million a year, that is a substantial bargain. Pair his physical downhill style with the breakaway speed of second-year back Jaden Blue and the physical running of Phil Maffa, and offensive coordinator Clayton Adams has a true multifaceted 1-2 punch.
Assuming the offensive line holds up, Tyler Guyton and Nate Thomas are in an intense battle at left tackle just to protect Dak's blind side. But my biggest issue isn't the offense, Hank. It's the defense. The Cowboys intentionally allocated all their money to the offense, and now they are relying on a 34-year-old defensive coordinator to pull a rabbit out of a hat.
Christian Parker is a defensive wunderkind, Dwayne. He's bringing a completely new, highly intellectual identity. Yes, he's quoting Seneca, Marcus Aurelius, and Sun Tzu's The Art of War in press conferences, but his scheme is brilliant. It's extreme schematic fluidity, a 3-4 base by nature, 4-3 spacing, 4-2-5 and nickel. He's designing this hybrid front to maximize the personnel they do have And the linchpin of it all, first team All-Pro defensive tackle Quinnen Williams paired with Kenny Clark. That is arguably the most formidable defensive tackle tandem in the sport. Stop the run, affect the quarterback.
Sun Tzu is not going to get off a block on 3rd and short, and we'll see exactly how well this fluidity works right out of the gate. Because on September 14th, the Cowboys have to go right back to MetLife Stadium to play the very same New York Giants who ended their 2025 season in complete embarrassment. We need to break this Week 1 game down comprehensively because this matchup is going to set the tone for the entire NFC East.
Let's break it down position by position, Dwayne. This isn't Week 18 of last year where Quinnen Williams was out with a stiff neck. You have a fully healthy Quinnen Williams next to Kenny Clark clogging the middle. Add Logan Wilson at linebacker and hooker roaming the secondary, and Tyrone Tracy Jr. is not getting anywhere close to 100 yards again. Christian Parker's multiple front defense is built to suffocate the run and force Jackson Dart into obvious passing situations against veteran defensive backs like Reddy Stewart and rookie Caleb Downs.
You're living in a fantasy land, Hank. Let's talk about the real matchup that's going to decide this game. The trenches when Dallas has the ball. You have Tyler Guyton and Nate Thomas fighting for their lives in camp just to play left tackle. Waiting for them is Brian Burns. And on the inside, Dexter Lawrence II and Roy Robertson Harris. Plus, you've got Abdul Carter blitzing from the linebacker spot. That Giants defensive front is a nightmare, especially when Brian Schottenheimer already admitted Dak Prescott is dealing with minor knee soreness at minicamp. A hobbled Dak running from Brian Burns, that is a recipe for a strip sack.
You're severely underestimating Clayton Adams' play calling. Dak isn't going to be holding on to the ball. The Cowboys have the ultimate schematic advantage on the perimeter. The Giants have Deonte Banks at corner. He's good, but he cannot cover both CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens. Plus, you have Jake Ferguson working the seams and Jalen Tolbert as a serious deep threat. The Giants mathematically don't have the secondary personnel to survive that aerial assault. Oh, and if the Giants drop back to stop the pass, Javonte Williams and Phil Maffa are going to smash them in the mouth with the run game. Adams even mentioned finding creative ways to use Cavante Turpin's speed in the base offense to keep the defense guessing. I'm telling you, Dallas wins this with sheer, overwhelming offensive firepower. My official score prediction, Cowboys 31, Giants 20.
Firepower doesn't matter if your quarterback is staring at the MetLife Stadium turf, Hank. Dante Fowler Jr. is a solid edge rusher for Dallas, and Jadeveon Clowney had a great game last time, but they aren't exactly keeping Jackson Dart awake at night. Dart threw for 230 yards and 2 touchdowns against this team last time, putting up a 110 passer rating. He's got a full offseason as the starter under his belt now. I don't trust Parker's Sun Tzu defense until they actually generate a stop in the fourth quarter when it matters. The ghosts of Week 18 are still in that building, and Dak is going to be seeing ghosts. Primetime nail-biter. My official score prediction, Cowboys 27, Giants 24.
We will revisit those receipts in September, but if you think the panic in Dallas will be loud if they drop Week 1, let's pivot to the West Coast. Because if the Cowboys are a case study in prioritizing calculated offensive continuity, the Los Angeles Lakers are engaged in the highest stakes game of superstar roulette imaginable.
Rob Pelinka isn't just playing roulette, Hank. He put the entire franchise on 00. February 2025, they sacrificed their foundational interior defense, trading Anthony Davis, D'Angelo Russell, Jaden Hardy, and Dante Exum to get Luka Dončić.
And from a realist perspective, you acquire generational offensive gravity when you can. Luka delivered an immediate return. He led the entire NBA in scoring with 33.5 points a game, added 8.3 assists and 7.7 rebounds. He propelled them to 53 wins, blowing past preseason projections, fueled by a 16-2 run in March. The synergy between Luka, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves was terrifying.
Until the mirage evaporated. What happened late in the regular season? Luka's usage is so high, he suffers a severe grade 2 hamstring strain. He misses the entirety of the 2026 playoffs. LeBron and Reeves managed to drag them past the Houston Rockets in 6 games, but the second round, brutal. The Oklahoma City Thunder swept them into the Pacific Ocean. They lost the first 3 games by margins of 18, 18, and 23 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander absolutely dominated them because, surprise, when you trade Anthony Davis, you have zero rim protection to stop the West's elite big men.
Which is why the pressure in LA has reached a boiling point. We have officially entered the summer of 26 ultimatum. Luka is fully cleared and training in Slovenia, and he has made his demands unequivocally clear to Pelinka and Redick. He wants a championship team yesterday. He demands elite three-point shooters because the Lakers ranked dead last in catch-and-shoot threes. Most importantly, he demands an A-list pick-and-roll center, a vertical rim runner who can command the paint and anchor the defense against guys like Wembanyama and Jokic.
With what money? Luka's cap hit next year is a suffocating $49.5 million. Austin Reeves is an unrestricted free agent whose market value exceeds $40 million annually. And oh yeah, there's a 41-year-old billionaire named LeBron James entering unrestricted free agency on June 30th.
The Lakers have LeBron's bird rights. They can theoretically offer him a max 3-year, $182 million contract. Yes, it pushes them catastrophically deep into the luxury tax, but the Golden State Warriors are a legitimate external threat.
A threat? Golden State is severely constrained by the luxury tax aprons. They can only offer the $15.1 million non-taxpayer mid-level exception. That requires LeBron to take a staggering $37 million pay cut compared to his 2025 to 26 salary.
But he's a billionaire, Dwayne. His off-court empire dwarfs his NBA salary. He wants to tie Kobe Bryant and Magic Johnson with a 5th ring. Teaming up with Steph Curry in the Bay Area, operating in a motion offense, is a very tantalizing plan B if negotiations with the Lakers sour.
The negotiations are going to sour when he sees Pelinka's backup plans. They are looking at restricted free agents like Jalen Duren and Walker Kessler, which would require complex sign and trades that would force them to renounce players like Rui Hachimura. Or they draft Jaden Quaintance at number 25, a kid with great measurables but severe medical red flags with his knees. The rumors say they're aggressively pursuing 38-year-old Kevin Love just because he and LeBron hung out in London recently.
It is a labyrinthine salary cap crunch, but I have to ask you about the craziest rumor currently circulating from NBA insider Scoop B. Robinson.
Please don't legitimize that bullshit, Hank.
A 3-team blockbuster involving the Lakers, Wizards, and Jazz. The mechanics propose the Lakers send out their number 25 overall pick, unprotected firsts in 2030 and 2032. Jared Vanderbilt and Dalton connect to somehow acquire Anthony Davis back from Washington.
It is functionally impossible under current CBA rules. AD has a massive $58.4 million cap hit in 2026 to 27. The outgoing salaries of Vanderbilt and Connect do not possibly match that. It's an absolute media fabrication, but it proves my point perfectly, Hank. The desperation is so thick in Los Angeles that Lakers fans are eating up mortgage the future scenarios just to fix the mistake they made trading AD in the first place. Meanwhile, Redick is publicly stating that Bronny, who averaged 2.9 points a game in the regular season, needs to get in elite shape just to meet the barrier of entry. The whole organization is a Hollywood reality show.
Analyzing these two franchises in tandem reveals fascinatingly divergent philosophies. The Cowboys chose internal pragmatic stability, opting for ultimate quarterback retention and offensive spending, relying on a brilliant defensive coordinator to mask the gaps. The Lakers chose unprecedented superstar acquisition at all costs and are now frantically duct taping a supporting cast together to satisfy an ultimatum.
And both the Dallas Star and the Los Angeles Lake Show are walking a terrifying tightrope over a canyon of agonizing mediocrity. One wrong step and their championship window slams shut for the rest of the decade. And now it is time for I Said What I Said.
We'll see who falls and who survives. Let us know in the comments below. Which franchise is navigating a more dangerous strategy right now, the Cowboys or the Lakers? Also, drop your score predictions for that Cowboys-Giants Week 1 matchup. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode of the 8 and 88 podcast. For Dwayne the Skeptic, I'm Hank the Realist. We will catch you on the next one.
Welcome back to the pod. It's time for I Said What I Said, and today I am speaking for the actual, real deal New Yorkers. New York, you did it! 53 years, half a century of absolute misery, of front office blunders, of draft lottery heartbreak, of telling yourselves next year is the year. From Willis Reed limping out of the tunnel in 1973 to Jalen Brunson dropping 45 points in Game 5 to finally bring the Larry O'Brien trophy back to Manhattan. If you're a real Knicks fan, you know exactly what you were doing when that final buzzer sounded. You were probably in your living room or at your local spot crying tears of joy into a chopped cheese. You were calling your dad, your granddad, whoever raised you on this cursed franchise just to say, "We finally did it." But I'm not here to talk about real Knicks fans. I want to address the fucking ass clowns that give real Knicks fans a bad name. The absolute front-running, late-to-the-party dumbass bandwagoners who are using this beautiful 53-year-in-the-making moment as an excuse to act like total assholes. I'm talking about the coward who showed up to the Spurs hotel after Game 4 to throw an egg at Victor Wembanyama. Are you kidding me? A generational talent? A 7'4" alien who pushed us to the absolute brink all series, and your first thought after a win is to hide in a crowd and launch breakfast food at him? And shout out to Wemby, by the way, because he brushed it off like an absolute professional while that fan proved they belong in the garbage. Real basketball fans respect greatness, period. And don't even get me started on the streets. We've got videos of a lone Spurs fan, shout out to the guy wearing the Dennis Rodman jersey, having to fight off a massive mob of fake-ass Knicks fans right in the middle of Moynihan Food Hall in Penn Station. It took a whole barricade of NYPD officers to rescue the guy. We've got people ripping jerseys off San Antonio fans in the streets, lighting school buses on fire, and acting like absolute fucking dickheads. You think Jalen Brunson wants his legacy tied to a bunch of clout-chasing assholes fighting in Penn Station? You think this is how you break a half-century curse? What the fuck, bro? Let me make this crystal fucking clear for the dumbasses in the cheap seats. If your first instinct after watching your team win an NBA championship is to go hunt down an opposing fan to punch them in the face, you don't love the Knicks, you don't love your city, and you're not a real Knicks fan. You're just an asshole who loves chaos. The real Knicks faithful are too busy trying to find a way to take off work Thursday for the parade down the Canyon of Heroes. They've waited their entire lives for this moment, and they're not letting a few fake, clout-chasing, dumbass wannabe fans hijack the narrative. So, to the true blue and orange diehards, congratulations on the Larry O'Brien. Enjoy the parade. And to the bandwagon brawlers, do us all a favor. Let the real Knicks fans enjoy their moment in the sun and crawl back into whatever holes you crawled out of, lose your fucking Metro card, and keep your dumbasses at home. I said what the fuck I said.
This is Hank's Hall of Fame Minute. Dwayne, I've always believed in giving people their just due, whether it's positive or negative. Today, I want to talk about an extraordinary group of performers, the world-renowned Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. This squad didn't just happen overnight. Back in the early 1970s, the Cowboys became the first NFL team to truly modernize cheerleading. Owner Tex Schramm decided to turn the squad into a full-scale entertainment product. Sure, they had cheerleaders before that, but this was different. This was about showmanship, spectacle, and creating something iconic on the sidelines. For decades, they have been famously known as America's sweethearts. Behind that iconic image, the reality hasn't always matched the spotlight. Consider these numbers. As recently as 2022, the cheerleaders were making about $15 to $20 an hour and around $500 per game. While some reports threw around a $75,000 a year figure, the reality is that to hit that, a cheerleader would need a massive number of external paid appearances. For most, the base pay for practices and games equated to what a substitute teacher or fast food worker makes, roughly $36,000 to $40,000 a year. When you consider that the Cowboys franchise is valued at over $10 billion, that raises some serious eyebrows. This disconnect truly came to light in 2024, following comments from Chief Brand Officer Charlotte Jones, the daughter of Jerry Jones. She faced public backlash for stating that the cheerleaders don't come here for the money, but rather for their passion for dance and the rare opportunity to be part of something bigger than themselves. For many people, that comment did not sit right. The issue was brought into sharper focus by the Netflix series America's Sweethearts, Dallas Cowboys Cheerleaders, which gave fans a behind-the-scenes look at the pay struggle rather than just the performances. Veteran cheerleaders like Jada McClain spoke openly on the show about earning just $15 an hour even after spending years on the team. And here's where it gets interesting. They didn't just accept it. While they had conversations about taking serious action, including the possibility of a walkout, they ultimately chose not to go that route. But they still pushed for change, and it worked. Their efforts, combined with years of pressure that included a 2018 lawsuit over unfair wages from former cheerleader Erica Wilkins, finally paid off. Heading into the 2025 season, the squad secured a reported 400% raise. This massive jump means some veteran cheerleaders could now be making over $75 an hour. While exact numbers remain a little unclear, keep in mind this base pay might not even include additional income from media deals, tours, or appearances, meaning some members could be making significantly more overall. The bigger picture here is this: it took decades for these performers to get closer to fair compensation. So yeah, when we talk about giving people their due, this is one of those stories where the recognition was long overdue. Credit to those women. They didn't just perform, they pushed for change, and that is something worth talking about.
This game's in the refrigerator, the door's closed, the lights out, the eggs are cooling, the butter's getting hard, and the jello's jiggling.